Emmy goes live, and I'm assuming from what she said earlier, her and Bash start thinking about it, and they think it must have been, in order for somebody to say, whose side are you on, which I still don't know who said that, but that doesn't matter. Whose side are you on? It must have been the lawsuit joke that Bash had sent to Outlaw Trucker, and Outlaw Trucker must have sent it to Queen in order for Queen to think that, because they had no clue that Aileen had her on the phone at that point in time.
Right. They didn't find that out until Queen's stream later that night, right?
No, yesterday, which was the next day.
Yeah, okay.
So they go live, and they're we lost Deets. Well, I hope she could still hear. They go live. Headstones and Bash go live, and they're telling.
Sorry, I yeeted myself because my touchpad's so touchy.
Okay.
You didn't miss nothing yet.
What part did you miss?
I was to the part where people were contacting Emmy, and then I.
Okay. All right.
Oh, you did.
So it's not discussed anymore at that point, right? Okay. Then Emmy schedules a live. She goes live. Queen goes live. At that point in time, Queen was talking about other stuff, right? It was gerbils and a bunch of other shit, right? Nothing about this situation. Emmy goes live. When Emmy does her live, it's to address, first off, that she had nothing to do with the Outlaw Trucker recording. So that was one subject being discussed. And then second was Bash's meeting with Betty and what that was like and all that stuff. At that point in time, they had discussed, it must have been the joke about the lawsuit that was sent to Queen, and that's the reason why I'm assuming they thought that Jonesin and Queen were saying, like the side stuff, right? That's what their deductive took them to, right?
Was the joke sent or heard?
No,
neither.
They thought it was sent, but nobody knew about the joke until Emmy's live, Headstones and Headlines, her live that night when Bash said it on live stream. Like, for me, that's the first time I had ever even heard about the joke. Nobody knew about the joke until that stream.
So Queen, Aileen calls Queen, and Queen is listening in on a group conversation, or just
on a conversation. So Aileen said yesterday on panel she has two phones. She had Bash on one phone. Okay. Well, she said she was talking to Queen on the phone first, and then Bash called on her other phone. So she set her phone down, and she was talking to Bash, and Queen could hear what Bash was saying, and Aileen was talking to Bash.
Okay, so Aileen and Bash were talking, and Bash says, what? It wasn't this joke.
Same thing she was saying on panel. She had a pleasant experience meeting her. She was surprised. She was so, pleasant. She wasn't obnoxious at all. She liked her hair, whatever. Like,
it wasn't a horrible time. It was amicable.
Same exact theme as what she was saying on the live stream.
Okay, so then from there, from that point, I think we're all caught up to that point, all right? So then from there, what I'm trying to connect, how do we go from this, overhearing this phone conversation, and Bash, says that Betty's not wasn't a shit person for those 2 hours. Mind you, those 2 hours she wasn't a shit person. How do we go from that point to Emmy being contacted?
So Queen, who is also fired up at that point in time, shares with Jonesin, right? So I don't know who the other message is. I'm just assuming that one of the messages came from Queen. I don't know for sure. And the other message came from Jonesin at that point in time, asking Emmy, like, are y'all BFFs now? Whatever.
So because Emmy, you're up here. I saw.
I am. I was waiting.
So because they heard that Betty wasn't a shit person for a couple hours, I'm just not understanding how that goes to people asking Emmy.
I think it was presented in
because they messaged me. They messaged me about, and I understand Jonesin, and I've got to say, Nunya, I'm glad that you jumped up too, because I'm like, no, that's not what happened. We had no idea, and that's exactly what it was. And I did want to say, Nunya didn't message me until after my live, so Nunya she knew nothing at all until after my live.
But not like that. I didn't know until your stream what you guys were thinking. Like, I thought your stream, that's why I went in there to watch and to hear from Bash's own words what her experience was, why she went out there. Like me personally, I had a problem at that point in time with her going not to look for a missing person originally. She went to just record Betty, which is like kind of what we're against, kind of, you know, not making the family or the missing person a priority. So I went because I wanted to hear her own words and her own take, not just somebody else's version of a story kind of a thing. So I wanted to go and hear what she had to say. And when I started to hear you guys talk about the joke, number one, I'm like, oh, fuck, like that's a terrible joke and very bad taste. Okay, fine. But not fine like that, but you know what I mean? But
what
like,
was the joke?
Down, but now you guys are thinking that like now it's being put on Outlaw Trucker, and that's not the case. Like, and that's why I kept, like, I started asking in the chat, started having questions like, well, where's the receipt of that? Like, why do you think it was him? Like, I don't understand this. This isn't making sense to me.
So the joke,
we thought it was him because we weren't told. I found out that it was Aileen yesterday when I got home from work. So we didn't even know it was Aileen. Well, I didn't know. I can't speak for Bash, but I didn't know until I got home from work last night that it was Aileen who is the reason for all this. So I was still under the impression up until last night that it was that single text message that Bash had sent to Outlaw that was the cause of all this. And that's why I had said earlier, if the person who had messaged me, well, any of the people who had messaged me had been fully honest, and Jones, and thank you for the word, I couldn't think of it, but transparent. If they had been fully transparent with me, none of this would be happening.
I agree.
So let's clarify this right here, because there are a couple people confused here. The joke was not shared. The joke was outed by Bash on Emmy's stream because that's what she thought was spread around. Yes. The joke was that Bash had made a joke in her group chat about
it wasn't a group chat. It was to one person.
It was to one person.
Sorry. So she had made a joke to one person in a text about BHB not being a horrible person, and she's going to support her in the lawsuit. LOL.
No, that's not what the text said.
Well, I'm just going off of what here. I can replay it. She just said it. I can go back and share it so we can hear it one more time. But this is just Bash's words. I don't know.
Okay, yeah. The text message itself didn't say anything about the lawsuit or Queen.
Oh, well then why did she?
Why did she say that then?
Let me go here. This is out of Bash's mouth. This is not something I'm coming up with.
And mind you, I mean, I can't speak for Bash, but both of us were really upset. And we assumed, based on what I had been messaged, that it had to do with Queen and the lawsuit. Clearly, it had nothing to do with Queen or the lawsuit.
Right.
Okay, here's what Bash says. Let's play this.
Figure it out.
So somebody jokingly, let me catch up here. So somebody jokingly said that they were supporting BHB in the lawsuit, and then now this is happening?
Yeah. No, that shouldn't even have been brought into it, though, is the point that I'm trying to get to. But let's hear. Sorry, I know my StreamYard's lagging. I can't even add. There's Patricia, I see you back there, but for some reason StreamYard won't even let me add you because everything's lagging for me. But here, let me try.
Anyway, moving on. There was a message that I had sent, and all it said was it was a joke. I said, yeah, I'm thinking about supporting BHB in the lawsuit. LOL. It was a.
It didn't say so that.
I didn't make that up. That's just what Bash said on your live. So that's what I was going off of.
We're missing the sarcasm font. That's the problem. The sarcasm font.
But this shouldn't even have been brought into it. Come to find out.
Exactly, and that's what I'm saying. Right. If I had been told that it was Aileen, first thing, I would have never gone live, and this wouldn't be being talked about.
Okay.
Right.
So, Aileen and Queen are talking on the phone. Aileen gets a call from Bash. Aileen sets the phone with Queen down, picks up the conversation with Bash. Queen overhears Bash tell Aileen that. And
mind you, Aileen had to have the phone on speaker in order for Queen to have heard it. Right. So in my opinion, it was deliberate.
I agree.
Probably.
Absolutely.
But, so she hears Bash say, Betty's not a shit person for those 2 hours and blah, blah, blah. But nothing about a lawsuit was mentioned there. So then from that phone conversation, how do we get from that phone conversation, overhearing that phone conversation, to Emmy being questioned about sides?
Oh, I don't know about the sides. I messaged Emmy because it
I
was
don't know about the sides
presented.
either.
Yeah,
That
no,
wasn't
there are
mine.
no sides.
What?
It was presented that, like, by Aileen, on the phone conversation, that Bash was changing teams. That's the gist I got.
Oh,
so I was like,
my God.
Yes, exactly, Jones. And it was.
Okay, say that again. Go ahead, and you can say it too, Headstones.
Go ahead, Headstones.
Okay, so the message, and again, I can't because I'm on my phone again. The message started with, "We know where Bash stands. What side are you on?" And I'm like, I'm on my own side. Like, what?
You can turn.
I don't take sides. Like, I bash Betty and I talk about cases I care about.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's where the sides came in. And that's why, because of those words, what side are you taking? That is why, and I, again, Bash could, we were brainstorming, we were chatting.
So you felt
Those words made Bash believe it was the text where she said, "I'm thinking about taking Betty's side, LOL."
So you felt from that text, you felt like everybody was discussing this, and that's why you decided to do
That's
your
what
live?
everybody was
No,
thinking,
she
yeah.
thought that the joke had gotten out, and that's why this was being addressed to her, and they needed to clarify what really happened, and that it was a joke, because they thought that it was being presented that this
Right.
is like not
Right.
as a joke, but as a serious stance.
And I got Jones's message first. So we already know that there's a rumor going around. I then got the message about, we know what side Bash is on. What side are you on?
Okay, I get it. Okay, so you
And
felt
you're
like
not-
So we assumed that
right.
people were talking about it because now I'm getting an influx of messages asking me whether I'm best friends with Betty now.
Okay, so now I get it.
Okay.
So it goes from that phone conversation that's, possibly taken out of context, maybe not, who knows, to where you're getting an influx of messages. You think
Yes.
there's a huge rumor going around about Bash and or you, and you're like, I just want to go live and clear this up. And so that's where
Can we just
Exactly.
clarify the influx of messages was just 2 messages, correct?
No.
Oh, there were more than 2 messages?
Yes.
Oh. Okay.
So wait, let me interject. here
Hold
for a second.
on, because they're questioning why did I email Emmy. I messaged Emmy because I typically do. If I hear something, I
yeah,
message
you're
her.
Emmy's a lot. I see you over there a lot. You and
So,
Dunya both are very active chatters.
It was just letting her know, hey, there's a rumor going around. I should have gave the details. I could have been more transparent, but being transparent also put, my friend out there not looking good.
Right. You would be throwing people under the bus, and that's not, I'm not that type of person either. And yeah.
So this truly has nothing to do with the outlaw trucker situation. They've just been merged into 2 things.
Nothing to do with it.
2 things
Right.
been merged into 1.
Right. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so just so I'm not in the twilight zone here. Everyone on this panel realizes how stupid this is, right?
Oh,
Like
I'm pretty sure I said it earlier. I didn't
Absolutely.
realize how upset
It is.
I actually was about this until I started talking about it.
Right.
So blown out of proportion.
And sometimes it happens that way. You replay your live and you're like, oh man, I was really, really upset about that.
No, we all do it. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like
for
we all
sure.
do it.
For sure.
I'm just like, I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page. Like, this is asinine. Like, this whole thing blew into this massive thing where like fucking 600 people are watching this.
Well, and last night there was that was my reasoning for wanting to go through this and get to the bottom
A
of
lot
it.
of people were missing part.
there was so much I didn't understand because no one could hop up last night on Morbin to fully explain it. And then y'all were just going at each other in the chat, like just going at each other. And I was like, why does everybody hate each other so much over this? So
Morbid's quit over this.
Can I ask who was going? I didn't. I mean, I only
Morbid
went in
did
and out.
not go over this. Morbid didn't know a motherfucking thing about it. He shouldn't even.
No,
have
he
it
did
as a
not. No.
topic.
I'm not saying he did. The Kendra popped up there to try to explain it, and I did not understand it from her, but bless her heart, she tried. But then everybody was just blocking each other, and there was. I even timed out a person, and I've never.
Well,
done
and
that.
Morbid did reach out to Bash and I. And I respectfully declined because I just wanted this to go away.
Yeah.
And so then I just happened, I had, you had reached out to me, Deets, and I said, well, let me, now that I'm done with work, let me just tune in. And
I was asking for a timestamp, by the way. I was like, hey, I'm going to discuss this. Is there a good spot I should look for in your live?
Right. And I told Deets, if you just play what I said in my live, that's exactly what I'm going to say again. So I'm not going to repeat myself.
Yep. And I said that was totally fair. So
yep.
That's where I started with that 10-minute timestamp. So
I totally get that, Headstones. Like, I totally get just like wanting this to die out because it's really ridiculous. Like, it really is. Like,
it's silly when you break it down that way.
I think the other thing too that I've seen in this stream, Deets, that I know like you and I have had conversations about before. Originally, when Bash first starts talking out about this experience to her, he goes into saying that there's other creators that she can cover, and she just kind of wants to move on from this. Not that she'll. So I specifically asked, does that mean you won't cover Betty's bad behavior? She's like, no, I'll still do that, but there's so many other people I could cover. Mm-hmm. And if you watch that chat, the chat was like, what? You said she's nice. You said, and I was like, dude, what is wrong with people?
Right.
Why can't she have bad behaviors and be nice? Why can't those two thoughts about her coexist? And to the point where Bash was like, well, guys, it was a lot of, I mean, and she's still responsible for her own words, so I'm not saying that, but it was a lot of pressure being thrown at her. And I was just like, wow, it has shown me this situation has just shown me a lot, lack of communication, lack of privacy, lack of transparency.
There's a lack of understanding that happens as well. When Aileen went off on me and Jones, and she went over there saying that we don't think Betty's a tragedy pimp anymore, and in fact we're not going to ever say that anymore, when that's not at all what I had even said in my live. I don't like the word pimp because it feels like nails on a chalkboard to me, so that's one of the reasons I use the term bad actor. But she didn't understand that, didn't comprehend it, even though it was fully explained to her. So she goes over and starts just going nuts, and I only listened to 4 minutes of her before I was like, she just doesn't get it. So it's a lack of understanding.
If you look back over that, her doing that to us, that's exactly what just happened with Bash.
Yeah. Okay, and can I piggyback off all that?
I agree with when it comes to what Bash going. I'm sorry.
I just want to say something really fast, and then I'll jump down. But I know all of this sounds ridiculous. It really is. Queen was upset. She went live, and what she really wanted to do was denounce Aileen and tell everybody she had nothing to fucking do with any of this. When it was brought to her, that phone call with Aileen, Queen wanted to get ahead of it right away and just let everybody know she had nothing to fucking do with this. She's in a real life lawsuit and doesn't want to be involved with anybody going real life on Betty.
Queen's live with Aileen was the next day after Emmys, right?
No, I think there was a live before that too.
No, it was the next day. It was
the next day, yeah.
And so live was Sunday night.
There was Queen did go live Sunday night, and I think at the very end of her live, she talked about it.
That's the clip I played first. Yes, that's the clip I played first.
Right, and then yesterday, which is Monday, is with Aileen.
Yeah, that was the night, but right before Headstone's live, at the very end of Queen's live, she had mentioned maybe 5 minutes of what was going on with the phone call and everything.
Pause for 1 second, because I know that's going to take a conversation. So I just want to address Brianna here. Thank you, love. It says, I'm on the side of most of us are good people and we would be friends or at least friendly in real life. And I do think Queen has, she's got to be frustrated and I don't know about scared, but just annoyed with all of the lawsuit BS. I would be even knowing I was right. Grace, my dudes. Yes, that's what I've been preaching. Everybody needs grace. We need to offer grace to everyone. And it sounds like this was a huge misunderstanding that if we can piece it together can easily be cleared up. So thank you, Brianna. And sorry to cut you off, NorCal. I just know that this is going to start a conversation. So I wanted to make sure
that's just really what I wanted to say. Like, I know all of this sounds ridiculous and it really is, but Aileen called Queen, got her all heated up. She mentioned it the last 5 minutes of her live. Then Headstones and Headlines went live with the receipt of the text message or whatever.
Right.
And then Queen went on live the next morning to denounce Aileen and let everybody know she had nothing to do with Bash going there, going real life or documenting or whatever the hell she was doing out there. I just don't want any of that to get lost in translation, that Queen had anything to do with any of this. And really, that's all. I just wanted to come and clear that up. I know it sounds ridiculous, but she's in a real life lawsuit, and she would never send anybody out there to go document Betty, basically.
I don't think anybody thought she did send Betty out.
Yeah, I would never.
That's out there. Sorry, I didn't think anybody thought that.
I think there's stuff in the chat.
I think Betty's been saying it. Yeah, and Betty's been saying someone sent Bash out there. I think she's trying to take digs at Emmy and Aileen. I don't think she means Queen.
Oh well, Betty better be prepared because I'm fired up and I'm gonna be talking about her soon.
Good.
Emmy.
Well, too.
Emmy, can I ask you a question? Because I know there was a lot of confusion the other night. Because I think you'll think it's funny.
Sure.
Are you and Betty really best friends?
Listen, I want to be her bestie, and she told me never to contact her again.
Girl, she was so mad on that live. She said, "I will never be your friend."
I got that.
And then she called me a bitch. Like,
so many F words.
But see, Maria, I don't see that. She knew pretending to be nice to QB's friend would cause upset at the Hive, but I don't see. Bash isn't over at the Hive a ton. I haven't seen her there.
I've never seen her.
I mean, it would be different if it was like Nunya or Jonesin that were out there and pretended to be nice to them.
Listen,
I really think Betty was just working her doing her thing out there and searching the way
Nobody
she
gives a shit.
And truly, it's highly possible that may be how she actually behaves during a search. Like, since nobody has been there with her, I feel like to say it was all for show for Bash, like, nobody really knows that. Like, you can assume it, you can, like, it's a possibility, but it's also a possibility that may be legit how she acts when she, when
how did Bash mess it? I'm missing. How did Bash
didn't do nothing? Bash didn't do nothing.
No.
Yeah, well, to be fair,
she did
absolutely
a few things, but
was she planning to go out there to strictly record Betty over making a priority of the missing person?
I thought they were saying Bash messed up as it pertains to this scenario here on the YouTube stream.
Just the going part of it. And she said she already has acknowledged that, like, she owns that she obviously got some blinders on and she messed up and she's going to be, reevaluating within herself.
Right. And that she had a change of heart. She had a change of heart when she got there.
And
I didn't say he didn't quit over this. I didn't say he quit over this. Did somebody else have it?
No, I can tell you right now because I talked to Morbid behind the scenes, and the reason why Morbid quit is because he wants to serenade Betty and she won't let him.
Oh my God. Well, that's all I gotta say, Deets. I'm gonna jump down. Thanks, guys.
Thank you for that, NorCal. Thank you.
Betty, it's on you.
No, he didn't quit over this. I was saying what I witnessed last night was this back and forth in the chat. Like, people were just totally hating on each other. I'm just going to leave it like that. They were just hating on each other over this situation, and I didn't understand what this situation was. So I thought, well, if I don't and there were a lot of people in there that didn't understand what this situation was either. So let's break it down.
And there's been a lot of misinformation put out there, and I feel like a lot of it is coming from people who are just listening to others talk about my live instead of listening to it.
Let's correct this right here, because if you listened to what NorCal just explained, what we just laid out, Queen didn't go live with the sharing of this private message. So that's why we played it in order. There's, Queen mentions things at the end of her live. It wasn't about this private message. It was about Bash going out there, and it was about the outlaw trucker situation. Two completely separate situations. The sharing of the message gets brought up on Emmy's live because that's what Emmy and Bash think was shared with all of these people, was that it was that private message, but it wasn't that. Come to find out, it was not that. So
right,
she didn't go live with the sharing of a private message.